Is he suggesting that cops can do whatever they want for a day and that will actually solve the problem?
No, he's not. And even the clip you just played, what's it, 5 seconds out of, for Donald Trump, an hour speech? No, he's not serious. There's no policy behind that. But I think where the American people...
Hey, that eye roll was priceless. You know what I'm saying? Like, if bro shut the hell up had a face, it was that right there. So it feels like I'm essentially repeating myself, but I think it's really important that people understand, or at least when you're coming to my channel, watching my videos, I truly believe if you're a Republican, if you're a Democrat, independent, or whatever that you want to claim, you have to be honest about facts, or at least the data that we can all agree on. Because I know there's, a plethora full of facts and data that, some people create to be disingenuous. But for the most part, we should be able to agree on a set of facts. And based off those facts, then we should be able to conform a intellectual opinion about the matter, and then go from there. If my opinion or perspective is different from yours, then let's have a conversation based off facts and then our perspectives. But it is weird. Some would say cringe. I don't even know if that's a word. I'm probably too old to even be using that word, but it is awkward for individuals who claim to be intellectuals or knowledgeable enough, wearing suit and ties, nice haircut and everything, and can't even pass the first base, which is, these are the set of facts, collected from a credible source. Now let's have a conversation. We can't even pass first base. And we have grown people talking at this table, and we can't even get off the ground to have that conversation. And nevertheless, we're talking about CNN. This has, the CNN panel with Representative Bryon Donalds, which I'm just now getting familiar with. I think I seen him on the Breakfast Club a couple of days ago. And once again, the same with Democrats and Republicans. When these individuals are paid to represent their party, it shows. Because no matter what information is brought to them, no matter what the conversation is, their job is to ignore reality, ignore facts, and just hit talking points. And that destroys the real conversations that could lead to real solutions. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But we'll never find out because we can't get past first base. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
And is he getting policy ideas from a B-list Hollywood movie? Well, that's because what he is saying sounds like it was ripped from the pages of The Purge. It's a movie franchise, but here it is.
Business, right? They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have it's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately. End immediately.
All right. So, I mean, this isn't new when it comes to Trump.
One day.
It's almost kind of part of his strategy. Like, he says the most craziest, ridiculous things, and he's an entertainer, so he knows what he's going to say is going to be disliked by a lot of corporate media. It's hard to not talk about it, but at the same time, with us talking about it is giving him airtime. And just like a lot of celebrities say, any news is good news. Bad publicity is good publicity. So it's like, we shouldn't give him the time with these ridiculous statements, but at the same time, it's like, he's running to be president again. So it's like, it's a rock and a hard spot, but let's listen.
Of whatever you want, I guess. it is a literal movie plot, but real life policy?
Well, it's not policy. And this is red meat for the base because they don't ask questions about, well, how would you do this and how would this work? It's just red meat, and I think it works for the base, but
which is weird. Like, if you know your base gets turned on by you saying police should be able to do what they want, how they want, when they, like, for an hour, like, you're weird. You are a weird individual, and you probably need to go out and touch some grass. Something. Like, if that's what you like to hear, something's wrong with you.
it reminded me of The Purge first, and then it reminded me more of The Hunger Games, where the ruling class puts a bunch of people together every year and says, you guys kill each other, to show control and instill fear in an electorate, in the citizenry, if we're comparing movies. But this is real life. And this is the kind of thing that turns off the people he needs to win. People in swing states who are undecided, who want to hear policy solutions, not stuff like this.
I mean, but in all seriousness, Congressman, I mean, is he suggesting that cops can do whatever they want for a day and that will actually solve the problem?
No, he's not. And even the clip you just played, what's it, 5 seconds out of, for Donald Trump, an hour speech? I think a lot of times people say, oh, well, he said this. For 5 seconds, yes, he says things that are unscripted. He goes off the cuff. He's not serious. There's no policy behind that. But I think we're the American people.
Hey, that eye roll was priceless. You know what I'm saying? Like, if bro, shut the hell up had a face, it was that right there. But I mean, I would say to challenge that statement is, if you know that you're trying to relay a message to millions of people, if possible, you know, you don't want your policies, your good points, your main message being overshadowed by a stupid unscripted, because I think he had that one in the chamber, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of ridiculous to have an unhinged, unscripted comment, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, it don't matter, to dominate that entire narrative. We don't know what else he said in that rally. He probably could have said some good points. And folks like me who's not going to go to a Trump rally, you would want whatever clip that someone's trying to take out of context or whatever to be something of substance, not an unhinged, weird comment like, oh, you know, police officers doing what they want for an hour. Like, you defeated yourself. You're beating yourself. And now we're talking about this 5 seconds, and we could have been talking about something you said in your rally that had at least some substance, something, right? But no, we got to talk about another pointless conversation.
People truly are, is they at least want to hear what somebody is thinking full-throated, versus Kamala Harris, who is completely scripted, like badly scripted.
I guess I wonder,
and there's nothing coming out of her.
What is the policy then? If it's not that, then what is actually the solution?
He wants to make sure that police are supported, so they're upholding the law. In every city in our country, I was in Duane Reade last night here in New York, just trying to get razor blades so I can get a fresh shave for today. I had to press the button for the attendant to come to open up the case just so I can get a pack of razor blades. That's what's going on in every major city of America.
Who cares? What does that have to do with Donald Trump not being able to control his lips, to control his mouth, at least for, what, 30 days or however long it is until election? Who cares? In one, razor blades being locked in a case has nothing to do with police brutality and keeping police accountable for constitutional law breaking. Like, it has nothing to do with that. But weirdly enough, he tried to connect some dots. So there you go.
Americans are fed up with that kind of stuff. It happens because you do have a dereliction of support for law enforcement in too many cities in America. And so there's a major angst going on amongst the American people. Donald Trump said a comment for 5 seconds. That's not setting policy. That's revealing the angst of the American people.
Donald Trump has a history of saying inflammatory things. It's not just those 5 seconds, Congressman, and you know that. He has a history that goes back from the time when he first ran for office, and he's talked about telling people in his rallies to knock the crap out of him. He had a history, even when I was working here at CNN, he was telling people how CNN is the enemy of the people. And you know what? A guy named Caesar Sayak sent pipe bombs to this building, or not to the other building that CNN used to be in, and tried to kill people. Donald Trump says things that get people hurt. When he talked about liberating Michigan, what happened? Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan, they tried to kidnap her. There's a plot to try to kidnap her. Every time he says something that's just 5 seconds, inflammatory statements like that. What happened when we have January 6th? It's because Donald Trump opened his big mouth and wouldn't shut up. And I wish at some point, Congressman, you would at least have the courage to stand up to your dear leader and tell him when he's doing wrong.
Are we gonna?
Hey, I bet you, I can bet money. He wanted to say, and if you had the balls to stand up to your white leader, I know he wanted to say that. Like, man, if you had at least the cojones to say what you really wanted to say, which is honest. Be like, hey, Trump, I need you to shut up, bro. We trying to win this election. We trying to get this money, and your mouth, your pointless comments is now having me against the wall trying to defend you. I'm gonna need you to shut up, bro. Just stand on stage and wave and get off. Like, you messing up the money. Like, maybe, you know what I'm saying? But once again, you know, you get paid to take the shots.
Don't just apologize for him.
Now about the rhetoric
Don't just apologize for him.
Are we going to talk about the rhetoric directed at Donald Trump? Because we do realize that he's been tried to kill.
Are you going to continue to try not to answer the question? So you're not going to answer what I just said?
Hang on 1 second. Let's talk about that. Let's actually talk about rhetoric, because here's what Trump supporters have been saying.
People hear this violent, dangerous rhetoric, and we're going to have a copycat. It's coming. And it's just unfortunate. Somebody's going to get killed.
I'd say that's pretty strong evidence that the left needs to tone down the rhetoric and needs to cut this crap out. Somebody's going to get hurt by it.
It works when we see the liberal elite literally trying to take out a political opponent. Now, do they cause it? Absolutely, they contribute to it. They're complicit with it because of their words.
So according to those gentlemen there, saying that Trump is a threat to democracy is violent rhetoric, but Trump saying, let's just have one really violent day, that is not violent rhetoric?
No, he didn't say one violent day. That's not even what he said. But let's be honest about what he actually said.
Can we play
it again.
Trump
again? Play it again, because he didn't even say that. But go ahead.
Can we play it again?
I want to hear it.
All these stores go out of business, right? They don't pay rent. The city doesn't have money. It's a chain of events that's so bad. One rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out, and it will end
like
immediately.
Rough, okay?
End immediately.
How is that not violent rhetoric?
We have to acknowledge the reality going on in every city in America.
Not answering the question. Not answering the question.
That is answering the question. Because the reality in America, hold on, Keith, the reality in America is that crime is massively up.
Crime is not massively up.
That's
a
Oh my God, this is the old tiring talking point. The crime rate is up, and trust me, we're about to get into that. But once again, answer the question. Answer the question, and it's easy. If you're being honest with yourself, you should say, "Hey, Democrats are posting Trump as the person who's going to end democracy." And in some way, shape, or form, I could see someone taking that and feeling like they need to take matters into their own hands. I'm no Democrat, but I can at least acknowledge that. Like, it's not hard to try to connect those dots. And if you got a few screws loose, you might try to do something. But holy smokes, if you think what Democrats are saying can cause violence, political violence. What about everything that Trump and his Goonies are constantly saying about immigrants, about black people or inner city people, immigrants, trans and gay people, I'm like, I can't even put into words if you're saying no to what Trump is saying, but yes to what Democrats are saying. Like, you live on a different planet. Like, that's what has to happen is you are checked out here. You are not home here.
You can bang the table all you want, but
you're
that's
lying,
not true,
Congressman.
G.
You're lying.
We already know that there are
the FBI just released data this week that crime is going down.
We already know that.
Oh my God! Why do you, Abby? Why do you let this man lie on your national
I'm
television
not lying.
like
I'm telling you the
this?
exact
This is not right.
You may not
You're a
want.
liar,
You may not.
Congressman.
No, I am
You're
not.
lying.
Because you're lying to the American people
If
now.
you would let
And
me
so I want to be
talk,
respectful of what you're trying to say.
Hang on a second.
Go
If
ahead.
you would just let
Go
me
ahead.
talk, I will explain exactly what you want me to explain. We have the data. The FBI literally put out data today showing that crime is down this year for the first 6 months of the year. But look at the trend line. Okay, crime is down in all these different categories, and then there is a trend line that shows that crime is going down. So why do you continue to say that?
I do think, though, in some
I'll
place,
let you get in, but I do
We're
want the
going
conversation.
to talk about this.
If you look at crime rates in the United States since the pandemic to this current point, this current period in time, crime is up.
Okay,
look
look at
over
the
the
chart. We're
years,
gonna put it
crime
up.
is up.
Congressman.
Violent crime
Look at
is
the
up.
chart.
Look at the chart.
I'm looking right now.
All right, so let's go ahead and break this down because they're just gonna go back and forth, and you know, old boy's gonna say you're lying, then the other one's gonna say no, you're lying, and it's nothing gets talked about with this chart here. So Donald Trump, president, 2016 to 2020, right here, and as you see, crime was pretty steady. I guess. I mean, for the whole 20, 30 years, this is pretty high, but for the most part, it's been pretty stagnant. COVID hit, let me look at my notes, 2019, 2020, right here. Boom, and it fell. Great job. Congratulations. But unfortunately, when it fell, that's when people were locked down. People couldn't even commit crimes, I guess you could say. I mean, crimes were still going, but like when the lockdowns were actually taken seriously, you couldn't go out. So I guess you couldn't commit crime, which is a weird thing. But then after the lockdown ended and the pandemic was still going, we still had COVID going on, which was, it ended mid 2023. So we need to be honest with the time frame and what the one pandemic, you know what I'm saying, happened and what that did to people and businesses. People not working, people couldn't get money, people couldn't pay their bills, and people just acting a fool. When people see other people doing things out of desperation, they're going to take advantage of that and just do stupid things. Like, let's just be honest. So, I mean, I don't want to say that's the reason why crime just shot up. It could be a bunch of things that contribute to that, but just off of just the information that I looked up before watching this video, that's the general census of what was going on during that time. And Joe Biden took the presidency 2020. He had to inherit the bad policies of the COVID lockdowns from Trump into his administration. So it's just weird how people don't understand how when you're passing the presidential seat, you're also inheriting what they did or what they didn't do or what they failed or what they accomplished. You're taking that in. It's not like as soon as Joe Biden took office, then all of a sudden COVID happened and all of a sudden crime rose up like the same day he took off. That's not how that works. So let's go ahead and hear them talk.
Okay.
I'm looking right now.
Crime is on its way down. It has not returned to pre-pandemic levels yet.
And yes, I mean, looking from point A to point B, crime is going down. Why can't we just look at that and admit that? Crime was here 2022. Crime is going down 2023. And from what they're saying, in 2024, crime is even lower. So, of course, right now, crime is lower than what it has been in the past 2 years. Why can't we just admit that and move on? Oh my! They're literally going to talk about this for the next what 3 minutes.
But it is trending down.
Well,
That is a fact.
I'm looking at your chart right now. 2021 is when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office.
2020.
Look at that spike up in violent crime. What Donald Trump.
Do you
hold on,
see
Abby,
where?
but
Do
this
you
isn't-
see where it went after
Abby,
2021?
Abby,
It
this is
going
important. This is important. But
I don't
We
understand
know
why
what
you-
This is
you're-
really
you're-
important.
No,
If
crime,
you
is,
want-
crime is going down. And
Put the chart back up. Put the chart back up.
Put it back up. Crime.
Look at
where it's going.
2021,
Oh, look, this
which is when Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office in 2021.
Okay.
The
You know
trend
what?
line is up for violent crime in the
crime-
United States of America.
And you know what?
That is
Hang
an
on.
empirical
Hang
fact.
on.
I'm not going to sit
That's
here
your
and let
chart.
this
It's not even
man-
mine.
and
I
let
just
this
saw it for
man
the first
lie
time.
all night on
I just saw the
television.
chart.
I'm not going to sit here and let him lie on
But I
television.
want to.
No. Wait 1 second, because we
This is
have
silly.
to hold on.
It's not silly when people.
We have
when
to,
stores, and
Congressman,
I'm sorry,
just give
and
me
I'm sorry,
1 second,
Abby.
please.
Go ahead. Of course.
We have to
Absolutely.
deal in facts here.
Thank you.
Okay, it's clear as day. The FBI put out statistics for the first half of this year.
Yeah.
The numbers, the trend lines are going down in all of those different categories: murders, rapes, robberies, property crime, aggravated assaults. For 2023, the trend line is going down. If you don't believe the FBI, independent people who look at these numbers say the same thing. There was a spike in crime during the pandemic. That is true. Nobody's disputing that. But the reality is that crime is going down. You don't have to twist the facts to make the case that people feel
Abby.
unsafe. Just say people feel
Abby,
unsafe.
I'm not even twisting the facts.
Oh
You put up
my
a chart. I just
God.
looked at the chart myself. The bottom line was from 2021. Well, what happened in 2021? Joe Biden and Kamala Harris came into office. This is when
And pandemic. Can we just like submit and just establish reality that COVID did happen, right? Like it was a real thing. So why is he purposely just skipping that information? And with that, at least in my lifetime, that one moment that just shook up the whole world essentially, and it made a lot of things unreal. You know what I'm saying? People couldn't leave their house. People couldn't go to work. It was just a crazy deal. So people are going to act out, obviously. And I don't blame the pandemics on Trump. It's just something that happened. And in my opinion, he handled it without no care, essentially. And we just have to deal with the results. But to ignore reality, we're never going to get a solution, or at least one that's
Democrat
needed.
politicians were all the rage for defund the police.
This had nothing to do with that.
Can I finish my
All right,
point, because
I
I
wanna
let you
move-
speak. No, but you
You
can't.
really
but
did
you
not.
can't
You
move on
monopolized the
because-
entire conversation for the most part. I
Keith,
spoke
you
for a
yelled
minute.
across the table, didn't even let
Because
me
you
make my
lied.
point. I'm not lying. I'm telling you the truth. You don't want to hear the
All
truth.
right.
That's the problem.
The
Let me
truth is
let
up
you
there on the
finish your
screen,
problem is you don't want to hear the
Congressman.
truth.
Let me let you
It's on the
finish your
screen,
thought,
Congressman.
All I'm
Congressman, and then
saying,
we're going to
all I'm
move on
saying is
because Scott
similar.
needs to get in.
I don't even know why you have him on the stage tonight.
Similar to inflation, because I'm bringing facts to you.
Because you're lying.
Because similar to inflation, in 2024, the trend lines are coming down slowly. But that ignores the reality of 2021, 2022, 2023. You know what the American people are concerned about, which Donald Trump is speaking to? Massive inflation brought to us by Joe Biden and Kamala
Not
Harris.
true.
It is very
Oh
true.
my God! All right, we will talk about inflation on another video, but to get back to some of the other points that they kind of mentioned throughout the video, and I think it's really important. Excuse me. One, and I said this plenty of times in different videos, your words have actions, or your words do have actions. It has real world consequences, some for the good, some for the bad. And a couple examples I have in my handy dandy notes here. In 2019, the El Paso shooting, in his manifesto, he was angry about the Hispanic invasion. I mean, what party is hinging their entire political strategy on the Hispanic invasion? Once again, in 2022, the Buffalo shooting, the dude who left his manifesto, what was he angry about? the great replacement, and who was, at least in my opinion, the one championing that argument, Tucker Carlson. So once again, your words have actions, and it's weird that I have to explain this to other adults, other people who should be in my dreams smarter than me. Okay, because if I can figure this out, you should already know this. This should be a no-brainer for you. But once again, I think as a political system as a whole, Republican, Democrats, and anything in between, we need to learn and don't defend trash people. I promise you, if they had someone reasonable on a Republican ticket, we wouldn't be talking about pointless things like this. And then maybe we could actually talk about policy and who has the best policy, numbers by numbers. Line up the numbers and let's have the conversation that way. But when you're constantly having to defend a trash person, you're going to do what you have to, because one, you're getting paid. So you got to do your job. So you're going to ignore reality. You're going to say what you have to say. You're going to repeat dumb talking points, ignore data and information, and look stupid for a person who 9 times out of 10 doesn't care about your black ass. Like, it's that simple, you know? So, I mean, as long as we continue to play this red blue game, we're always going to be having these pointless conversations. But like always, if you think I'm wrong on everything or anything that I just said in this video, let me know in the comments on what I said that was incorrect or false in your opinion. And like always, let's have that conversation.